Hey guys, it's me, Miss Norris, and today I'd like to share a fun read aloud with you of the story Miss Nelson Has a Field Day. The story Miss Nelson Has a Field Day was written in 1985 by Harry Allard and it's illustrated by James Marshall. If you're ready to hear the story, I'm ready to share it with you. Here we go. Miss Nelson Has a Field Day. For some weeks now, gloom had blanketed the Horace B Smedley School. No one laughed or threw spitballs. No one even smiled. Miss Nelson was worried. There's a funk at the school, and their teacher is worried. Everyone was down in the dumps. Even the cafeteria ladies had lost their sparkle. The sign says, hamburgers again today. Mr. Blandsworth was so depressed, he hid under his desk. It's the worst team in the whole state, he said. So the cafeteria workers are feeling a little blah, and even their principal is hiding under his desk. And he says, it's the worst team in the whole state. And it was true. The Smedley Tornadoes were just pitiful. They hadn't won a game all year. This is the team, the Smedley Tornadoes, and they've not won any games this whole year. They hadn't scored even a single point, and lately they seemed only interested in horsing around and in giving Coach the business. Why practice, they said. We only lose anyway. So instead of taking practice seriously, they were messing around and giving the coach a hard time. Because we're just going to lose anyways. It's a bad attitude. We're in for it now, said old Pop Hansen, the janitor. The big Thanksgiving game is coming up, and the werewolves from Central are real animals. They'll make mincemeat out of our team. What's to be done, said Miss Nelson. We need a real expert, said Pop. That afternoon, while Miss Nelson was grading papers, she heard wild laughter. It was coming from the teacher's lounge. So the custodian says the next game is going to be a doozy. The werewolves from Central are real animals. And Miss Nelson says they got to do something. And as she's after school, she hears laughing coming from the teacher's lounge. Now, teachers like to have a good time, but if it's after school, they probably should be at home. Coach Armstrong had cracked up. I'll make us a fresh pot of coffee, said Miss Nelson. So Coach is the one who's laughing. He's not laughing with anyone. He's just going crazy by himself. When Coach had calmed down, Miss Nelson took him home in a taxi. You need a nice long rest, she said. The next day, it was announced over the PA that Coach Armstrong would be out for a long time with the measles. Who will take his place? Said the kids. So Miss Nelson notices that Coach Armstrong's having trouble. She takes him home, and the next day it's announced that Coach Armstrong has the measles. When Miss Nelson passed by Lulu's after school, a serious discussion was going on. We need someone who can really get the team into shape for the big Thanksgiving game, said one kid. Someone who knows how to get results. It's too bad Miss Viola Swamp isn't around, said another. Who? Said a kid who was new in town. You've never heard of Viola Swamp? Said the first kid. The meanest substitute in the whole wide world? She's a real witch. she'd have no trouble getting results. Mr. Blandsworth happened to overhear. He said. So Miss Nelson's hearing them talk, but their principal's also kind of hearing him. He's sneaky style. And they have to get Viola Swamp. They think she's a witch, but she'll get results. Said Miss Nelson, and she wasted no time getting home. After rummaging around in her closet, she found what she was looking for, an ugly black sweatsuit. Then she made an important phone call. "I'll be right there," said the voice on the other end. The next day, Mr. Blandsworth announced that there would be football practice as usual. "Whoever it is," said the guys, "let's really give him the business." The doors to Coach's office flew open, and out stepped, dun, dun, dun. I don't know what's happening, but Miss Nelson has rushed home after hearing that the kids want Viola Swamp. And she finds an outfit, she makes a phone call, and then the next day, there's an announcement that there's a new coach, and the players are like, "Let's give him the business. Let's give him the new coach a hard time, too." And then out flew a lady in an ugly black dress. "My name is Viola Swamp," said the lady, "and I'm here to get results." "It's Blandsworth!" cried the guys, and they laughed him off the field. "Oh, rats," said Blandsworth. How could they tell?" Just then, the guys heard the sound of squeaky tennis shoes. So, Mr. Blandsworth has dressed up like Viola Swamp. And he tries to scare the kids, but they're like, "We know that's not you." But then they hear squeaky tennis shoes. "I am Coach Swamp," said the lady in the black sweatsuit. "Holy smoke!" cried the team. "The swamp!" Says Coach, "and don't you forget it." The team's fullback tried to pussyfoot away. "Not so fast, smarty pants," said Coach Swamp. "Wow," said one of the guys. "Did you see that tackle?" So we got Viola Swamp. She's the coach, and don't you forget it. And when this guy is trying to sneak away, she tackles him and says, no. Coach Swamp was a real expert. She put the team to work right away. The guys had never done so many leg raises. "More!" said Coach Swamp. They had never run so fast. "Faster!" yelled Coach Swamp. "This is murder," said the guys. "Pipe down," said Coach Swamp. So, Coach Swamp knew what she was doing. She made the boys work hard. She made them run fast. And when they got a little lippy, she told them to quiet down. "Yes, ma'am." In only a matter of days, the Smedley tornadoes were looking better. Coach Swamp really gave them the business. Mr. Blandsworth was a little puzzled, however. "Who is this Miss Swamp? Maybe Miss Nelson knows. I'll go ask." So, in just a little bit of time working hard with the team, that's making a difference. And Blandsworth, the principal, wants to know who this fancy new coach is. And he knows that Miss Nelson will probably know the answer. She seems to know a lot of stuff. Miss Nelson was busy grading papers when Blandsworth looked in. "Well, I don't want to disturb her," said Blandsworth. "She probably doesn't know anyway." Down on the field, Coach Swamp was having a little talk with the team. "And don't ever think you can horse around again," she said, "because the swamp will be watching." So, he doesn't want to disturb Miss Nelson while she's grading papers. And Viola Swamp is like, "You keep it together because I'm always going to be watching. Even if I'm not here, I'm watching. When Coach Armstrong returned after his rest, he was very surprised by what he found. The guys played like a real team. How did this happen? Said Coach Armstrong. Said the guys. So Coach comes back and he's surprised by his team and he asks how it happened. And the boys don't want to say it was Swamp still looking after them. But Miss Nelson is too. On Thanksgiving Day, the tornadoes clobbered the werewolves 77-3. It was a great day for Horace B Smedley School. So the team all came together. You can see Miss Swamp out there. She's sitting right next to Miss Nelson. They're together. The team went crazy and really beat the other team a lot. Mr. Blandsworth treated the whole team to hot dogs at Lulu's. Miss Nelson went home, tired and happy. So the team won. The principal took them out to celebrate, and Miss Nelson went home, tired and happy. Sometimes you just have to get tough, she told her sister Barbara. And by the way, thanks for filling in for me. Anytime, said Barbara. Anytime. The end. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you really enjoyed this story. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button at the bottom of the page. Did you guys just catch what happened? Miss Nelson is a twin, and she dressed up like Viola Swamp, and her twin, Barbara, went inside the classroom. So it's Miss Nelson that can get real tough, and her sister just holds down the fort. Whoop, whoop, whoop. If you like this story, please hit that thumbs up button at the bottom of the page. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot to me. If you are not a subscriber yet, please click that subscribe button down there at the bottom of the page. And don't forget to click the bell so that you're notified when there's new content. I hope to see you all again real soon. Bye-bye.